Today we're being joined from the Collingwood AFLW side, Erica Fowler. Erica, thanks for coming on.
No, thanks for having me, Cooper.
No worries. Tell us a bit about yourself, what type of player you are and what got you into footy.
I'm a bit of an all-rounder, so I play a utility role, which is interesting, not coming from an AFL background, having to learn the ropes of everything. But kind of what got me into footy was I was playing rugby sevens at the time and started falling out of love with the sport, and mate told me to come down and play at a local AFL club down in Brisbane. And that's where I met the likes of Emily Bates at the time.
Nice.
So I got to play a bit of local footy with her, and was there, trained on with Brisbane Lions for their first 2 seasons. So was really fortunate enough to kind of learn the game from the elite level already, which was really cool to be a part of and experience, and kind of just fell in love with the game, and the skill aspects of the game is so exciting and changes so rapidly. And ultimately went down to Collingwood VFL and played a couple of games there, and I was fortunate enough to get drafted. So
So how did that opportunity come about to join the Collingwood VFLW side to obviously make the move from, obviously as you said, being from Queensland? How did that opportunity come about, and was it hard to move states, or was it pretty easy?
It was a difficult kind of period at that point. I had a full-time job in Brisbane, so I didn't really want to give up that full-time job to go and play essentially like the state league level. But I was still a part of the Queensland Academy of Sport for rugby sevens, so I was still kind of weighing up those options. And Collingwood was really fortunate in allowing me to just play a couple of games and kind of worked out a rotating roster, and paid it off my own bat. Went down there for 2 games at a time, and loved every minute of it. Learnt so much from their environment, and playing alongside their AFLW girls at the time as well was super exciting. And Eliza Hines took me under her wing to teach me the ropes of playing forward and ruck. And as I said, didn't ever expect anything to come of it. Didn't really expect to get drafted at all, and was really stoked when Collingwood read out my name, and the rest is history.
Yeah. So how was that process from playing in the VFLW side then to get the Collingwood opportunity in the AFLW side of things? How were the talks between playing for the VFLW side and the AFLW side, and in the lead up to the draft? How nervous were you amongst all that?
It was weird. I wasn't nervous because I had so much still at home back in Queensland, and I was just grateful for the opportunity to play at VFL and be in the Collingwood facilities, and getting introduced to things. I look back at it now, and I look back to what our VFL girls have. I mean, even this season, it's chalk and cheese. We barely had anything back then, and I thought we had the world. So, it was interesting. Obviously, I put in for the Victorian draft, and had a couple of interviews with some other clubs, and unfortunately, it was the year that Chloe Malloy was injured. So, was fortunate enough to be signed pre the draft. So that kind of took the nervousness out of potentially going somewhere else and having to meet new people. And when Collingwood rang me up and said, we're taking you, I still remember that feeling greatly. And the move down to Melbourne, I haven't regretted since. So,
So when you got that call, did you recognise I'm assuming you may have recognised the number that called you, and at the moment, and then how was that phone call to be official, I guess?
Yeah, I just finished rugby training, so I was pretty exhausted. But no, I obviously had the Bergs rang me, and I didn't really expect it at all. I didn't expect it, to be completely honest with you. I was just as I said, grateful to the opportunity and experience. And I was about to jump in the shower when I got the call, and time is perfect.
Exactly.
And I was lucky enough to have my partner there when I got the call, and took it in the garage. So it was
That's nice.
it wasn't all glory like some of the other ones, but it was. It's something that I hold special to me, and I remember. So
better than something than never. That's true. Better than nothing.
Exactly.
That's right. So you played 38 games since joining the Pies in 2019. Get a couple of goals. How was your debut game for the Pies? Tell us a bit about that day as well, and aftermath.
That was insane. I didn't expect to debut for round 1. It was Geelong's first game of their inaugural season, so
Okay,
the
yeah,
crowd, there was like 20, oh, don't quote me, 18,000 people down at
yeah.
GMHBA, and it was electric.
Mm.
But we caught a bus down there, and I think I'd played the game 4 times in my head by the time we got there. I was exhausted. I was like, we haven't even played the game yet. Like,
Yeah, the actual
I'm
hard part.
drained.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. I remember bits of the game. I don't remember a
yeah.
lot of it. It went really, really fast. But yeah, unfortunately we went down by 1 point, but
Uh,
that's a
yeah.
memory that I will hold very close to me for like the rest of my life, and a very, very special moment. So yeah.
Do you remember your first goal in your career, and how was that moment?
Yeah, man, that was like 5 weeks ago. Yeah.
Oh, I'm glad you can remember it then. How was that moment?
That was it's special kicking a goal. You don't realise, like,
Really?
I play utilities, so I barely really enter the forward line, but yeah, it
Yeah,
was it was a very it's a great feeling to be rewarded with a goal. So yeah.
that's for sure. Thoughts on the season so far? Obviously, there's still a game to go and a big one against Richmond this week. But overall, the season so far, hey, have you thought the season's gone for you girls individually and personally so far? Oh, sorry, for a team and yourself personally.
Or I think as a team, we're getting there. It's the way of AFLW. It's only a 10 round season, so there's not a
Yeah,
lot of time to make mistakes. You need to capitalise, but I think at the end of the day, the competition's growing and teams are getting better, and the competitive balance is becoming much more even, which is exciting. And that's where we want the game to go. And it's just about sticking to your process and sticking to what your team does, and hopefully
mm,
you'll be able to execute that on game day. And there's been some games that just haven't quite gone our way, but we know where we went wrong and what we need to do to get better, and just come back together as a team and push on to the next week.
obviously you got Richmond this week. Still a chance of finals. It might seem a bit harder, being a bit far down on percentage, but still could happen. You never know. Obviously, big task against Richmond. What's some of the key areas that you have to address to get that win against Richmond? Because obviously they've had some good moments, they've had some quiet moments like last week. But how do you think they're going to bounce back, and how do you think you're going to have to quell their influence to get the win there?
Oh, I think like any team, you come off a loss and you're eager just to get better. And as I
Yeah,
said, it's just sticking to what your DNA is, or what your processes are at your club, and what your team have put together throughout the preseason. It's just coming back to those and making sure that we execute the basics right. And if we do that right, then everything kind of gels together and the results can kind of come off that. So yeah, that's kind of
yeah.
what we're focusing on this week, and
Yeah.
see how we go.
Yeah. What's a week to week like for an AFLW play for yourself personally? How do you juggle? I'm assuming you might have a job or something around this stuff as well, around the footy stuff as well.
Yeah, I'm a paramedic, so I work for Ambulance Victoria.
Okay.
Um, Week to week at the moment, I'm on leave, which is very pleasant. So the
Yeah.
last 2 weeks have been quite nice. But
Yeah.
yeah, generally, I'm still doing about 38 hours a week,
Okay.
on
Wow.
top of footy
Yeah.
training. So yeah, we're fortunate enough that I can kind of compress that into a couple of shifts. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's busy, it's hard, but that's it is what it is, and you just make it work and get your balance right. And once you
Yeah.
kind of sort that out, it makes it a little bit easier. So yeah.
Who would you say is your favourite teammate at the club?
I don't have favourites. They're all my
Yeah.
favourite.
Good answer. Some of the interviews I've said, some people have started giving that answer, so they don't upset anyone, I guess.
I don't want to upset. I can't upset anybody at our club. Nah, they're all. I absolutely love our group. Our entire group's awesome. We're
Yeah.
all completely different,
Yeah.
and I think that's just what makes us so great. So yeah, no, I love all the girls equally at our club.
This might eliminate this question then. Is there a coach's pet?
100% there is. She knows exactly who she is.
Far away. Sarah Rowe?
Absolutely.
Fair enough.
No, I don't think there's anyone within Kiwi a second place yet.
Interesting.
It
Very
is.
interesting. Um, Danielle Pond, do you recall that goal she kicked at the start of the year from the centre square?
Yes. Oh,
Yeah.
vaguely. Yeah.
Yeah, so she kicked it from the centre square to Icon Park. It was around 2 or 3 or something like that. From the centre square, it bounced through over a few players, and then it bounced over a couple again, or went around them anyway. Do you think anyone would be able to replicate that type of goal from the team, or someone from your club, or someone that thinks they can but they can't?
Oh, I think there's a couple that think they can.
Yeah.
I reckon it depends how windy it is.
True.
the
We'll
headwinds
go to
like?
Windy Hill and have one advantage on one side of
Yeah,
Windy Hill, and there'll be a chance.
exactly. No, I
Yeah,
think Stacey Livingston or Stacker could give it a good roost.
yeah.
She's
Any
got a big boot
nicknames
on
you get
her.
given? Yeah,
Me?
that's for you personally. Got any nicknames they give you?
Oh, no, they just call me E. But
Not
then that
bad.
became really confusing once we had Ebony O'Day, Ellery Morris, and Eliza James, and they all start getting
Yeah,
called E. So yeah, I just respond
that,
to anything now. So
could be, that could be interesting. What's the best individual game you've ever played in, personally?
best individual game.
Whether it's like a key win or something that you individually had a key say in.
I wouldn't say a key say. I think I kind of base my games off, did I execute my role more
Yeah.
so? Yeah. But probably the most memorable game to date was probably the most heartbreaking game was that prelim final against Brisbane. That close one where we lost. I think our side of the scoreboard, obviously didn't go our way at times, but as a team we played that game with like full heart and
Yeah.
disappointing with the loss, but it's probably outside my debut. That's one game that will stick with me for a while.
Now, this will be towards the end of the interview, but I'm going to do a quiz. I've just incorporated this in the most previous interview I did, where it's going to be 3 questions about your own teammates. The answers will be your teammates, and you have to guess who the clues link to. So I'm just going to give you a heads up with that one. And the previous player from West Coast, Jay Bryn, she got 3 out of 3. So the pressure is
The pressure's on. Yeah. Okay.
Pressure's on. And I feel like you might get these, but I made these potentially a bit easier. But we'll wait and see. Who do you feel is the best player in the competition? As was Jade. Who do you feel is the best player in the competition for the Pies and just overall in the competition?
Oof. I think probably the most consistent player across the competition over many years is Jazzy Garner.
Yeah, that's a good choice.
Just an absolute workhorse. Her skills alone.
Yeah.
Pies. Oh. You can't go past Britt Benici and Brie Davey. They're very good and very influential across our group, both on and off the field.
Yeah, that was the answer I was expecting. Who do you feel will win the best player award at the end of the year in the AFLW medal? Who do you feel will come away with the chocolates there? Because it's really even. It's in my own votes that I do.
Yeah.
There's, without giving the exact number away, there's around 10 names a couple of rounds ago that were really in contention, which just shows how even this season is on an individual basis for the top echelon of names.
I'm not the biggest observer of a lot of things, but as I said, probably Jazzy Garner and from Demons.
Yeah. Sorry, what was that last name I just cut out then?
Kate Hall.
Kate Hall, yeah, she's been very, very good as well.
She's taken her game to a new level this year.
And second in the Coleman medal race behind her teammate Ian Zanker at the moment too.
Yeah, exactly.
Who loves the limelight, the attention, the camera at the Pies and just cannot get enough of it? I think I know where you might go here, but we'll see.
Those the 2 best friends.
Ruby and Sarah?
Ruby and Rowe, yeah.
I was expecting that, but just had to wait and see if there was another one.
They just bounce off each other. It's brilliant.
Yeah, it's true. And with Ruby's injury too, obviously it's devastating to see, but it's good to see that it's not the long-term injury as well.
Yeah, my heart breaks for Ruby. She's a leader of our club and she, puts herself forward every week. And, we're going to support her every step of the way. So, yeah.
If you could poach any player/players from another club for the Pies, who would you like to steal from another club?
Ooh.
Doesn't have to be a certain need that you may feel like the club needs, just in general. It doesn't have to be.
Just in general, I'd love to have Alyssa Bannon or Kate Hall.
That'd help out the 4 line with Kate Hall for sure.
They're just extremely, good.
They are. Both of them are. What's something someone does at the club that you just can't personally stand?
Oh, it's not personally stuff. It's just wet togs being left out. They just smell.
That's fair.
I won't point fingers, but it's just, no.
It's not good enough. Have you heard of AFLW Fantasy and do you play it? Sorry, cut out then. Have you heard of AFLW Fantasy and do you play it?
Heard of it? No, I don't play it, unfortunately.
That's fair. So who would be a player or a teammate that would pick themselves, no matter how good they are, whether they're injured or they're not getting a game, who would pick themselves?
Or Eliza James.
So if you get in the game every week, that's a start, I guess.
Yeah.
Is there
Very
anyone that
true.
checks their stats as soon as the game's over or whenever you get the chance to have a look?
I wouldn't have a clue, to be honest. I know I definitely don't.
That's fair.
Switch off after a game.
That's what a lot of players have said. Then I find it interesting. I would have thought there'd been a bit more competition between teammates, whether it's where they say, if I get whatever more than you owe me a coffee after the game or whatever.
Yeah,
So,
I think as I said before, it kind of comes down to your role you play.
yeah,
If you do your role right, the stats, yeah, they're irrelevant generally.
that's fair.
Yeah.
Toughest opponent you've ever come up against in the AFLW competition?
Toughest opponent. I would probably have to say, as a team or a player?
Individually for you, yeah, an opponent that you've matched up on that.
Individually for me, toughest for me would probably be, I'd probably say Emma King from North Melbourne.
Very tough matchup for sure.
Yeah.
Who do you feel is the rising star for this year in the competition? Obviously, there's probably three names that come to mind for me all the time. It's Zali Goldsworthy, Ali Morfitt, Ella Roberts. Is there anyone, or was it one of those three that you feel might win it, or someone outside of those three?
Not sure who will win it, but been really impressed with Ali Morfitt. Unfortunately she's gone down with a wrist injury, but
yeah,
she's only like 19 or 20 years old. She's very young.
Yeah, 19, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and where she was taking her game this year, she's going to be so exciting to watch in years to come.
For sure. Mark or goal of the year? Which one would you rather do?
Mark of the year.
Interesting. A lot of people have said Mark. I personally lean towards goals. When I used to play as a forward, I just loved kicking goals, so therefore I would pick goals. But it'd be nice to get up there for a mark. Who do you feel is the premiership tip for this season? If it's not Collingwood.
Someone, yeah, exactly. The top, it's too close. It can go either way. I have no
It really
idea.
could. It could go Melbourne. It could go North.
Could go Adelaide. I mean, that North Melbourne Adelaide game was insane.
That was very good.
3 minutes, like.
It did when Neve Kelly got that goal with a minute to go. Yeah.
Exactly.
And then North even had a couple of chances after that.
Go. Exactly.
It's fair. Interstate trips, do you like?
Do I like interstate trips?
Sorry, go on.
I don't mind them. Yeah, I don't mind them.
Is there anything different that you like about them compared to a home game one or home state?
It's nice to get away with the team or the travelling squad and have dinner and stuff together. From a routine perspective, it's difficult. You don't have what you have at home, but you just try and, like, you kind of work it out across as your career goes. You work out what works best for you and how to take those on away trips. Playing in different elements is a different question, but
that's fair.
Melbourne's cold and windy, so.
Yeah, no, they were not ideal. Then you also wouldn't want 30+ degree games as well. So you can't really either way with that.
You can't. No, there's no happy medium. So.
Would you rather colder weather or hotter weather in games or just in general?
I'm from Queensland, so hot, but
True.
I have been in Melbourne for quite a long time now, so I'm a little bit precious when it comes to the heat now. But when we trained over summer in AFL, like in the previous seasons, when we're over summer, you get used to the heat because you're training it all the time. Whereas at the moment, I mean, it's 16 degrees down here today, so
I'm like that. Yeah,
I'm in a jumper. So yeah, it just comes to your preparation, like drinking enough, like hydrate properly, and all that stuff in preparation for a hotter game.
Any hobbies and interests you got around working and playing AFLW as well? Any outside hobby interests outside of those two jobs you got?
Yeah, I love surfing, so I try and whether it's
pretty good at it.
Urban surf or no Steph Gilmore, but I'm all right.
That's good. Right.
It's
Right.
yeah, it's good. So
That's good.
hit me with 3
So,
questions.
yeah. So we'll start with the quiz. You got 3 questions, as I said. Let's see how many of the 3 you can get.
Yep.
Right. The first one should be very easy. Question 1. This player, this is all Collingwood AFLW players. So they debuted in. So how it goes is I'll give you 2 clues, then you guess who you think it is. If you get it wrong, I'll give you 1 more clue, and then you have to get it that time. Otherwise, then I'll tell you who it is. You're all good to go with that?
All right. To go. Hit me.
Right. All right. So they debuted in 2019. They picked 2 AFLW goals.
Are they still a current? Can I ask a question?
Yeah, they're current player. Yes, they are. All these 3 answers will be current players on the list at Collingwood AFLW right now.
Debuted in 2019. They kicked 2 AFLW goals.
Correct.
Is it Geordie Allen?
No. Right. The next clue. They're from In the last clue, they're from Queensland.
Oh, me.
They may have been. Sorry.
Is it me?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. I was like,
and you want to find. I want to find this very interesting too with Jade from the Eagles. She got the other 2 questions pretty well, but the question on herself, she struggled like you. She got to the second stage, and she just got it like you did as well. It's amazing, but we'll see how you go for the next 2. So you're not the only one to do that. So that's if you want to make it feel any better that way. Right. The next one is this player. The first 2 clues for this player is they're a tough, strong player, is in a contest player, and they're a former St Kilda player. Who's at Collingwood right now?
Former St Kilda player. Oh, Tony White.
Yes, boom. That's right. Good. The other clue would have been the black eye injury, but if I'd given that, it would have been the dead giveaway. So that's why I left that to last.
I just had Jamie Lambert and Steph Chochi in my head. I was like, no, they're at St Kilda.
That's right. So that's 2 for 2. You're going well. Right, the final one.
Yep.
This one will be interesting. Okay. So this player has kicked 12 goals in their AFLW career, and they have over 57,000 Instagram followers.
Sarah Rowe.
Perfect. The other hint to give it away, which would have made it blatantly obvious, is they're Irish and played 52 games. But yes. Erica, well done for getting 3 out of 3, just like Jay did. I really appreciate you coming on. And it's all the best for this week and hopefully more weeks after. If not, for the years after that. So appreciate you coming on.
No, thanks, mate. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.